Hello everyone and welcome to a new video from your Overwatch. I'm Eddie the Chump, and despite an air of negativity around the game, which I'm sure our criticisms add to somewhat, today we're going to recenter a bit and come clean about how we truly feel. Despite a laundry list of complaints, we're still in love with Overwatch, even after a 3-year relationship riddled with ups and downs. The ranked mode isn't a competitive environment, the game lacks features that many of us feel it needed years ago, and power creep is certainly a factor at this stage in the game's life. Frustration is seemingly an ever-present companion when playing, masking the reasons we all fell in love with Overwatch to begin with. The overall charm of the game, the uniqueness of each hero's character and skill set, how difficult it is and how good one can actually get at a specific playstyle are all fantastically compelling aspects that can get easily lost if one becomes jaded because the game doesn't reach your expectations in certain areas. I still marvel at how responsive every control is, for instance, how satisfying it feels to have so much power at your fingertips at any moment. Every hero individually represents a huge opportunity for learning and mastery. There's almost no limit to the depth of the game. There truly is something for everyone, and that is something to really cherish. But on reflection, there is actually a specific approach you must take to playing to actually enjoy the game. This seems crazy, but hear me out. Despite us agreeing deeply the game needs major changes to satisfy hardcore players, if you instead change your perspective and expectations to conform to what Overwatch is actually trying to provide, you will realise the fun was there all along. It was just clouded by the frame of expectations you were imposing onto it. That sounds obtuse, Eddie? Well, let me explain. On a personal level, one of my biggest roadblocks to me enjoying Overwatch has been my refusal to play the game how it has been designed. Like many of you, I have wanted Overwatch to be a more competitive experience, and as such, I have tried to play it how I wanted it to be, not the game that it is. You can piece this together when you consider everything Blizzard says and outwardly does towards managing the modes within their game. Many of you shuddered when hearing Scott Mercer saying ranked can be a place to relax after work in our interview with him, but this came as no surprise to us. You see, Blizzard has made ranked casual from day one. This isn't a revelation whatsoever, and they're fully aware that hardcore players like us, including pros who they have intimate contact with regularly, don't enjoy the format. All that being said, we do expect more hardcore options to develop soon, TM. But until then, us as players can buff our enjoyment of the game if we play it as it is, rather than forcing a playstyle it isn't fit to enable. Blizzard designed Ranked to be a quick play plus mode. We use that term flippantly as a slight towards its lack of competitive vigour, but that is indeed exactly what is intended by the rules set for the mode. Why on earth would Blizzard do that, you may ask? Well, it's the only way to let everyone play what and how they want all of the time. Initially, they had a team vision for the game, but they came to feel differently once they realised how limiting that kind of mode would have to be to actually work. My mistake has always been not recognising that or accepting it, instead trying to force organisation onto the chaos, trying to play it seriously, join voice chat and communicate, expecting other players to have the same outlook as me. This has led to me getting genuinely upset and despondent often, and has resulted in me not playing as much as I could have. I have wanted it to be serious, and the reality is it just isn't. So what's changed? How have I managed to rediscover my love for the game? Well, firstly, Ashe is a big part of it. What happened was that while waiting for Ashe to go to competitive, I spent 2 weeks playing almost nothing but quick play, studying top players, and preparing my Ashe skill set in every way I could. Because as soon as she was going to go into comp, I was about to be that guy. Yes, Mr. Excuse me, I'm actually a main of the hero that just came to ranked, thank you very much. I hadn't even placed my accounts in Season 13 up until this week, and when diving into my new life of Ashe maining, I set out to try and play her whenever I could, and focus less on what my team was doing, especially ignoring any mistakes they may or not be making, and instead, all my focus was on my Ashe gameplay. I'm sure many of you already play the game this way on your favourite heroes, and also have far fewer complaints about ranked because of it. Why? Because this is how ranked is built to be played. Play your heroes, do your thing. There are no restrictions. There is no role queue. Ranked isn't the Overwatch League, it is Quick Play Plus. Do what you think the team needs to win, even if that means sticking on your main heroes. When approaching ranked with this perspective, there was suddenly no pressure or expectation of how the game should play. I just played it for what it is and had a surprising amount of fun. Sometimes the comps were trash, like they can be, but instead of getting tilted at the hero select screen like I normally would have, I just focused on trying to practice. And rather than argue in voice chat to have endless debates that don't go anywhere, instead, what's that? Not a sound, just quiet. Just me, my hero, and TNT on a 10-second cooldown. I was in my own little world, suddenly able to concentrate, playing my little corner of the match and thoroughly enjoying myself. Playing this way, it is easy not just to forgive your teammates' mistakes, but to refuse to even begin to enter the delusion of having any control over their play. You don't. But you can do your thing better though, right? That's what you actually can control, so focus on that. And by the way, you can apply this to any role. You are indeed allowed to swap at any time, so make use of that fact. If your healer isn't healing you, or your tank is feeding, don't fill roles you're not comfortable in carrying from. This is the crux of the "it's my teammates' fault" arguments we've debunked in a recent video. Whatever bad teammates you think are holding you back, better individual players have won games with those same bad teammates. And if you aren't winning over a long stretch of games, you are doing something wrong, guaranteed. I'm not pointing fingers, this applies directly to me too. And thus putting all this together, rank does kind of work, in a way, if you treat it like the solo queue chaos it is and farm SR in your own way, rather than feel tied to metas and team play that almost no one actually understands but the pros, you'll have a much better time playing it. This all might seem selfish at first glance, but the truth is, that's what ranked is. That is how it's made, that's its purpose, to let everyone interact with it how they want. You want a team environment? Go ahead and gather a team. It will be far harder, of course, and not reward SR fairly in comparison to the solo route, but the option is there. You can do whatever you want, you just can't expect Blizzard to curate the experience for you. Again, we wish they did, but that's not their express goal, at least not yet. To better understand this perspective and where I'm coming from, consider playing more quick play for a start. You'll quickly realise how similar the two modes actually are, seeing as it uses the exact same MMR system for matchmaking, it just doesn't track your wins towards a rank. Now don't get me wrong, despite me changing my behaviour and having more fun in the game that's in front of me, I do obviously still think Overwatch needs an actually competitive team environment, but ranked isn't that. Clan matches are something I'd really look forward to playing, for example. I do like to try and win games in a much more hardcore sense, but everything in its right place. So for playing ranked, I pay it the respect or disrespect it deserves depending on your point of view, and I play it much more like it is quick play now. I play to get my own value wherever I can, just like I did when I was waiting for Ashe to be playable in comp. I've let go of my hardcore expectations and aspirations and just try to concentrate on playing what I choose to the best I can. Now that sounds startlingly similar to what a one-trick might say, and that's for good reason. That is what ranked mode is. Blizzard outwardly allows one-tricking, they've made their stance quite clear. But they do also let you avoid that player, so in theory anyway, everyone is happy, right? In real terms, I've just had much more fun by picking what I thought would work at any given moment, even if that resulted in a comp not being what people would say is balanced or optimal. We already have two tanks, but their Genji is carrying? I pick Winston and shut him down. We win easily. Team picks Ryan Zarya and two supports, but no Lucio? Well, if my teammates want to mouse one, I'm gonna help them mouse one, you know what I'm saying? I picked Lucio, shuttled my tanks around, got in people's faces, we rolled our opponents even without a brig. Here's the thing about building comps in ranked. Just because you can collectively select the roles in the spawn room for a meta composition, doesn't mean the players on your team have any idea how to run it effectively. That's why you can get rolled by wonky comps with 4 DPS and 1 tank, while you're running something supposedly balanced like 2-2-2. If you have people trying to fill on roles they're not used to, and your opponents have 4 DPS players all comfortable on their heroes, you're most likely going to have a bad time. It's all about that personal impact and value and how you can go out and get some. Don't worry about anyone else. You cannot control them. You either need value with their bad play or go get it yourself somewhere else. A good strategy is to pick something that stops what your opponent's biggest threats are or carry players are doing. Don't forget, the chaos is a two-way street. If you shut someone down who's doing work with a counter pick and they can't play anything else, which is very common, you'll most likely win the game. I've even, as I hinted earlier, and this will be unpopular, started to not join voice chat regularly. Before you get mad at me, let me explain myself. I'm not the best player in the world. I know, you're all shocked. It takes a lot of my concentration just to not throw on even my best heroes. Voice chat in ranked can be incredibly distracting for two main reasons. Firstly, people tilting really tilts me and breaks my focus. I basically can't play if the comms are cluttered with non-useful info. Secondly, and there's no polite way to say this, most comms and calls are wrong. So even if you try and follow them, you might end up doing exactly the wrong thing, but perfectly. High-level players on stream, like say PvPX, show what kind of calling actually works. Small simple calls for basic synergies that get value. Nano me now, grab early, that sort of thing. A lot of comms aren't like this. They're overcrowded with bad ideas, frustration, counter-calling, indecision, and displacement. That player in your match who keeps asking, why is nothing dying, is usually telling you indirectly that they haven't been doing much either. Like we've said many times, ranked can come down to get kills, don't die. A lot of players massively overcomplicate the game because they, like I used to, have expectations of the mode it just doesn't fulfill. None of this means that I suddenly think ranked is great, by the way. It isn't. I desperately wanted it to be this competitive environment where real Overwatch gets played, but I no longer cater to my own delusion. I play the game for what it is, and I do so without the distraction of bad calls and tilt. I'm not a monster. I don't stubbornly stay on what isn't working. The opposite is true, in fact. I just want to win the game, and ironically, sometimes that means taking it less seriously than I did before. If you want to love playing Overwatch again, don't bang your head against a wall repeatedly like I have done for literal years at this point. Play what you want because that's what Blizzard have made the game to enable you to do. I love Ashe, for example. She's exactly the kind of hero I love to play, and I play her right up until the point where my enemies get sick of me TNTing them and shooting them in the face as they slowly approach with Rein, Zarya, no Lucio and go Hammond Winston to crowd me out. Then I pick something else to exploit that choice, even if that's another support or tank, and I've loved almost every minute of it. Now, I know the comment section on this video is going to be a bit lively, so I do really look forward to reading what you guys have to say. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a rating. If you never want to miss another video of ours again, please click the bell icon next to the subscribe button on our channel to join the notification squad. You'll be in great company. And finally, please follow your Overwatch Twitter. It's where you can find updates about new videos and other cool stuff. I've been Eddie the Chump, and until next time,